Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching the third and final season of Dota Dragon's Blood. Now, Dota Dragon's Blood is in a bit of a tough competition when it comes to the other games that turn into Netflix series, such as Castlevania, the Cuphead show, and especially Arcane. And while it doesn't reach their level at all, I do think that it manages to carve out its own niche with its last season, even when it goes into multiversal storytelling. Let's get to the story, shall we? After the bit of a mess that we got into with book 2, the third book of the series has the Invoker and the heroes try to take out Terrorblade once and for all, while the Invoker always also tries to find a way to create a timeline where his lovely daughter Philomena is alive. But this might come with consequences, considering that it's in a new universe where many of our characters that have had 16 episodes to meet up and to build rapport with each other, they end up having to meet up all over again because it's in another universe. Therefore, these characters will have to repeat a lot of plot beats that we saw in the first two books. So yeah, not only is it an Elseworld story, it's a bit of a multiverse story, starting with the end of the second episode. In fact, the end of the second episode is an event that's so massive that I almost think that should have ended the last season rather than started this one. But every season had to be 8 episodes long, so I guess time constraints were in effect. On top of that, it really does feel like this is a multiverse story that feels like it was mainly there to set up Invoker and Philomena as the main characters, more so than the rest of the cast, because if you've seen these characters previously, you know exactly what they're like. Marana, Davian, Marcy, Luna, Lena, Bram, they kind of remain the same as they were from the start. But at the same time, the animation effort by Studio Mir does make a lot of these typical characters fun to watch. Though I will say Marcy is probably my favorite character, even though she doesn't get to talk at all. That really does say something when your script is full of F-bombs and others and fantasy jargon that just kind of takes you out of the experience most of the time. That continues with this season, and it never really stops. Though thankfully, the fight scenes by Studio Mir are really freaking good. Honestly, they're some of the best of the entire series, and purely from an animation perspective, and purely from people who are interested in the lore, I do think those people are definitely the ones who are going to enjoy the series the most. On top of that, I do think that it does have a satisfying conclusion for the end of the season, and it happens to tie up the plot beats the best it can with the time it has. Though, considering they only have 8 episodes, 6 if you count when this plot starts to finish up everything, naturally some of the character beats feel a bit rushed through, to the point where it does feel like some character decisions do come out of nowhere, and other ones feel like they're just rehashing plot points from the first 2 books. But I did get into Invoker and Philomena's story, and the final episode especially got me to see why people like these characters and why an adaptation like this was so anticipated by the fans of the games. It does make me wonder why Valve doesn't do this with any of their other franchises, though. So, while it isn't one of the best Netflix original animated shows based on a video game, I do think that it did what it could for 24 episodes, and after 3 seasons, I think this is pretty much where it should be laid to rest. There's kind of nowhere to go from here. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. See you next time.